This is it, the Qualifiers Part 2 for Quack's Marble Clash Season 3. Hello everyone, I'm your host Quack, and today we have the funnel duels and the archery, the last chance for a lot of these teams to make it to the main league, some of them for the first time, some of them trying to maintain their integrity. But of course here you can see the standings for both the friendly and the two groups as they scroll by. The Wavebreakers leading to friendly, the Pollen Puffs leading Group A, while the Stone Golems are in the lead of Group B. And here you can see the fans are lined up and ready to see the funnel duels with this large yellow parabolic funnel that the teams will have to go down. It's a team event, unlike most of the funnel events we've seen before, and it'll be sort of bracket style, but there is no advancement, at least not in the Qualifiers version. It'll just be running down, and it's all about that last marble to go through. You'll see how it works as we begin with our hosts, the Flying Saucers, up against the Pink Pallets, and they're off. It's just based on time with your last marble to go through. So the Pink Pallets losing one early isn't too bad as long as they can hold on there. It looks like the Flying Saucers, though, already have lost all of their marbles, and the Pink Pallets will be taking the win in this one. Can they rack up the time a little bit more? Ooh, it looks like they'll just barely reach the 14-second mark, I think. Yes, they will. 14:02, just barely will start off past 14 seconds. The Flying Saucer's not off to a great start. But you see how it works now with one marble really being the key to this. You want to have one staying in as long as possible. The Ivy League not doing that. They're already losing one, but they still have one going a bit wide. The Purple Flames do as well. It's really going to come down to those two. Ooh, but the Purple Flames almost made a bit of contact there, a bit of a tackle to get the advantage. And it looks like they will be winning, though I don't think they had quite as strong a time as the Pink Pallets did. Of course, winning the heats is kind of essential in order to get a good time, but the Purple Flames looking pretty solid. Both of the relegated teams so far winning their matchups, as now the City Lights and Wavebreakers are up against each other. And of course, this is the first friendly round event where we've had specifically the relegated and auto-qualified teams up against each other. And it looks like right now the Wavebreakers and City Lights are still dancing around, but the Wavebreakers have the advantage, and they will hold out. I believe that is Closeout, the marble that won sprint for them earlier, and the Wavebreakers have already won back-to-back friendly round events. Ooh, but they won't be able to win this one. Only P2 with a 12.79. Still a very solid performance from them, though. As now Rhapsody Blue and the Red Rockets, the last heat of the friendly round. This event will go by quickly, especially with two teams at a time, and it looks like the Rhapsody Blue will immediately be losing one. The Red Rockets have lost one as well. It's still 2-2 here as the Red Rockets, can they get out of that deep orbit there? I don't think they will, and Rhapsody Blue will be taking the win in this one. It looks like all four of the heats will result in a win from the relegated team, but only fourth place. Of the 8 so far, a 10.94 isn't bad, but you can see here all of the relegated teams getting top 4 here, and all of them winning their matches. So winning is really going to be critical, but you can still get a decent score. And the Wavebreakers, look at this, getting second place here, will clinch the victory. Pretty unsurprising, 3 top 2 finishes in a row. The Pink Pallets a full 10 points behind. But of course, the friendly round is mostly just for shows. Now we're getting ready for the real deal here. The Qualifiers, the Pollen Puffs and the Gugos up against each other first. The Pollen Puffs have all but clinched it. Meanwhile, the Gugos only have 2 points sitting at the very bottom. The Pollen Puffs, though, look like they're all getting close to that event horizon. The Gugos have the advantage right now. Ooh, but the Pollen Puffs have gotten out into a wider orbit, and it looks like unless they trip up here, no, they will not. The Pollen Puffs will take the win in this heat. The Pollen Puffs, I'm pretty confident considering we saw all of the winners get top half in the friendly round. A win here with a 14-13, that's a great time as well, will probably be enough to make it back to the main league officially. But now the Terror Titans and Team Pixie, another two teams on opposite ends. The Team Pixie in second in Group A. The Terror Titans only have 8 points, and they're already not looking great here. Team Pixie looking like they're keeping it generally wider, as the Terror Titans only have 1 marble left, and they go through. Team Pixie will take the win here in back-to-back heats. We'll have the less surprising team end up winning, and Team Pixie really racking up the time there, just spinning around as long as possible in the neck of that funnel. And a 14-17 will take P1 just narrowly. Well, the Terror Titans slot into dead last. It might be over for them. Now the Rose Rollers and the Wizard Lizards, the B-League champions, or at least the Season 1 B-League champions, up against the Season 1 B-League podium finishers, but the Rose Rollers are already losing quite a lot. Both teams are. The Rose Rollers already done. The Wizard Lizards, their captain, trying to get past 10, maybe to 11 seconds, but not a great heat from either team. I'm not even sure. Did the Wizard Lizards beat the Gugos time from Heat 1? I don't think they did. P4 and P6 is not great for either team. But now the Positrons and the Jelly Jammers, as we're starting to work our way toward the center of the standings more. Both of these teams are currently near the center, and the Jelly Jammers already lose one. It looks like they're about to lose another. Meanwhile, the Positrons still have that one orbiting wide. Oh, but they trade spots now, and the Jelly Jammers suddenly have the advantage. The Positrons come through with a decent time, especially considering they lost, but the Jelly Jammers still spinning around there, and that was a very impressive time from the Jelly Jammers, especially considering they're currently 5th place. And that will go into P1. A 14:41 is the best time we've seen yet, and the Positrons unfortunately going down into P6. But now the Loaves of Bread and Slush Rush, both teams with perfect attendance so far and would like to go back to the main league once more. The Loaves of Bread, though, currently a lot safer as the Slush Rush, currently pretty low, but they're looking very solid here. They still have 2 going. They're trying to rack up the time, but they're going to slip pretty quickly into the bottom of that funnel, and that didn't look like the greatest time. The Slush Rush did win this, which they're definitely going to need, but that's only P6 out of the 10 so far. Loaves of Bread all the way down in 9th place. Not great for them, considering they're only 7 points above the cutoff. They have to be careful, as now we move on to the Avocados and the Stingrays, the last heat of Group A. The Avocados already looking pretty bad here, as they're already losing basically everyone. Can they make a comeback with their last marble? I don't think they will. The Stingrays, with their captain Sting, look like they're going to get it done here and take the win in this heat. And Voca, the new marble for the Avocados, flying out of the catch basin there, but an 8-17 is not great for them, considering they're right on the bubble right now. The Stingrays, though, looking very solid, getting a top half finish, but the Jelly Jammers take the win in this one. The Team Pixie and the Pollen Puffs, considering they're already top 2 in the results, this is going to look very solid for them, and they've actually clinched qualification. The Pollen Puffs, Team Pixie, and Jelly Jammers have all guaranteed they're going back to the main league, or at least back for those first 2. The Jelly Jammers have gone from relegation to qualification. They will be making it. Meanwhile, the Loaves of Bread, Stingrays, and Rose Rollers on the inside looking out for now. We'll see if they can hold on to it. As now the Stone Golems and King Crabs line up for Group B. Both teams that have perfect attendance so far, and both of these teams would really like to make it back. Right now, the King Crabs, though, not looking good, but they will be able to hold on for the win here. Oh, but that time isn't looking great. They're trying to rack it up as much as possible, but I'm not even sure that reached the 11-second mark, and considering we saw even a losing team get to 11 seconds, a 10.82 is not the greatest, even for a winning time. The Stone Golems, though, a 6.86. Definitely resting on their laurels there, considering they're the point leaders at the moment. As now we move on to Orange Fizz and the Gigawatts. The Gigawatts looking like they're losing a couple pretty early on. The Orange Fizz still have one going a bit wider, and I think they will be holding on. They're just trying to keep the score up here, keep the time going, and they're definitely trying to take as wide an orbit as possible as they're finally coming down, and that was a great time from the Orange Fizz. Right now, they're outside the qualification zone, but a 14-14 might be enough to put them back in, depending on how the rest of this heat goes. The Gigawatts slot into 3rd, though, as now we move on to the Azure Diamonds and the Checkmates. Right now, the Azure Diamonds are on the inside looking out. The Checkmates are only a few points behind the bubble, though. But right now, it looks like the Diamonds have a huge advantage here. 3 marbles all staying wide, and the Checkmates are already done. The Azure Diamonds can just rack up the time as much as possible, but I don't think they're actually going to do that here. It looks like a lot of their marbles slipping pretty quickly. Perhaps it's knowing that they've won, not is taking the time to try and rack up their score, and because of that, they'll only slot into P2 with the Checkmates. A 6.61 is not a good time at all. As now we move on to the Soaring Skies and the Chili Peppers. Right now, the Peppers are pretty comfortably inside the qualification zone. The Soaring Skies need a miracle, though. And right now, it looks like they might have the advantage, though. They have a couple still going wide. Now the Chili Peppers have the advantage, and suddenly the Soaring Skies look like they might be in trouble. They still get a 10-second time, but the Chili Peppers, look at how much they've racked up the time there with their last marble, and that was a great run from the Chili Peppers. Will that challenge for P1? Yes, it will. A 14:35 is very solid for them. The Soaring Skies, 5th place, isn't the worst possible, but still not great. As now we move on to the Balls of Water and 4K Pixels. Both teams are very close to the bubble right now. The Balls of Water are currently on the inside looking out, but they're going to lose one very quickly. The Balls of Water did win the Funnel Endurance back in Season 1B, but right now it doesn't look like they're going to be winning this one. The 4K Pixels will be holding on for the win here, though, and with a 12-second time, it looks like not quite able to get to 13, I don't think, but still a very solid time. Yes, a 12.86. Ooh, not quite enough to take a top 3 spot, but still very solid. But now we wanted the final heat for this event entirely, the Snapping Turtles and the Flashbangs. The Snapping Turtles have won Funnel Endurance. They're known for their Funnel Endurance domination. Will that translate? It looks like right now they might have a bit of an upper hand. It's very close, but the Flashbangs are down to their last couple marbles, and they will finally fall through. The Snapping Turtles, who could have seen this coming, they will be winning this heat. I don't think they'll be winning this event, though. That time didn't look the greatest, somewhere around the 11-12 second mark. Yes, so 12.85 is only enough for 5th place. Still very solid, but considering they're right on the bubble, they would have liked a top 3 finish. The Chili Peppers take the win in this one, already 2nd place in the standings right now. It's going to look solid for them. The Orange Fizz and Azure Diamonds racking up some nice points here. As we look at the standings now, the Chili Peppers and Stone Golems have already guaranteed they will be making it. The Chili Peppers going back to the main league, the Stone Golems clinching their 3rd straight qualification. Meanwhile, the Azure Diamonds, Orange Fizz, Balls of Water, and Gigawatts on the inside looking out, but the Pixels are just behind them. But of course, now the fans are getting excited as we're coming down to the wire here. No teams are currently out of contention yet as we move on to archery. This is a brand new event. It's sort of similar to aiming from last season in a way where you want to try and get as close to the center as possible. You can see the points that each marble will earn. And we begin with the friendly round. Once again, the Wave Breakers starting us off. It will be their 4th marble all the way to the captain at the end. And it looks like a 2.5 or 3.5 actually will be the opening shot. Now their second marble comes down, and it's a 2.5, not great. Both marbles going off to the right side. Now their third comes down. That'll be a 5.5, not too bad, but they really would like a solid closer with their captain, and I don't think they'll be getting it. That's another 3.5. Not too shabby, but only a 15. We'll see how that compares to the rest of the runs. The Wavebreakers have already clinched the victory in this friendly round, so really they don't have to stress about this too much, but of course they'd probably still like to get a good result. And the Purple Flames not putting up a very competitive first round with a 4.5. Their second comes down now, and that's a lot better. That's a 6.5, I believe. Not too shabby. Of course, you get an 8 for a bullseye, but that is anything but the Soot, their former reserve, goes all the way and gets a 0. It doesn't hit a single domino, and they'll be hanging out with the test team, the Event Horizons, out there. It looks like a 4.5 will be the closing shot, and a 15.5 will just barely take the top spot. You can see how hitting 2 dominoes will result in getting the average of those 2 that you hit, so a lot of 0.5s being thrown around, as now the Pink Pallets with their former captain Hugh goes down almost a bullseye, a 7.5. If they had just hit the purple domino, they would have been able to get a bullseye, and this might be, not quite. A 5.5 for their second run isn't too shabby. Now their third, going way off to the near side, completely overcorrecting after seeing that Purple Flames round. And now the Pink Pallets, their last marble comes down, only a 2.5, not the greatest. But with those that strong opening shot of 15.5, wins on the tiebreaker with countback, and they will take P1. Now the Flying Saucers, the home team, trying to have a good end to this friendly round. Haven't been looking the greatest so far, but this is a pretty solid looking shot here, a 5.5 to start things off. Now their second marble comes down, and that's a perfect 7. They're one of the first we've seen that just hits a single marble, or a single domino, but of course they'd probably like to have gotten a bullseye, and that is definitely not it, a 4.5. Now the captain comes down. Can they get one? Not quite, a 7.5. Still very solid, though. I think this will definitely take P1, and a 24.5 by 9 points takes the lead. It's not even close, really, as now we move on to the Ivy Leagues. We're already past halfway done this event. We'll go by quickly. We have so many teams to get through. As their former reserve goes down, a 4.5, not too shabby for the Season 2 Most Valuable Marble, but that is not great at all, a 1, and another team going up to hang out with the test team. Now let's see, the former captain comes down, almost a bullseye, a 7.5, very solid for Hedera, but now Jewelweed, the current captain, gets, it looks like a 6 there. Not too bad, but the Ivy League slotting into a pretty comfortable P2. Not anywhere near the Flying Saucers, but still way above third place. Now we move on to Rhapsody in Blue. Run 6 of 8. We're already getting pretty late into this event for the friendly round, as they will come down. A 4.5 isn't too shabby. We'll see. Now their second marble comes down way off to the far side. That's a 1, almost getting a 1.5 with that pink domino, but not quite able to do it. Now their third marble overcorrects completely. Doesn't even manage to hit one of the dominoes. That's a 0. Now their counter comes down, and it'll be a 5. It's surprisingly poor for the team that won aiming in the B League, but that'll be dead last of the runs so far with a 10.5. Now we go on to the City Lights, the reigning runners-up from Season 2. Let's see if their skills will translate here. It looks like pretty decent so far with a 5.5. Now their second marble comes down, and a 2 is not great. And then they actually fit right in with the test team up there. But now let's see, a 1.5 isn't too shabby, but still not amazing. They really need a good anchor leg with their Captain Metro, and they will not be getting it. That is a 1, and will that take any spots? No, that is 7th out of 7 with a 10. Yikes. Now let's see if the Red Rockets, the reigning champions, have anything to say about this event, or if the home team will hold on for the win. Tank comes down, and that is a 3.5. Not terrible, especially for Tank, as now Fuselage comes down. Can they do better? Narrowly, a 4 will be pretty solid. Now let's see how their third marble goes, and overcorrecting a little bit, a 3.5, not too bad though, but they're really going to need a solid run here, and I don't think they'll get it. Thruster, the captain, only manages a 1.5, and a 12.5 will still beat 2 teams, but P6 out of 8 isn't the greatest. But of course that means fittingly the Flying Saucers will be taking the win in this final friendly round event in their home stadium. The Ivy League and Pink Pallets round out the podium, so to speak. The Wavebreakers hold on for the win, unsurprisingly, considering they clinched it, but the Ivy League will hang on for second place, the Pink Pallets in third place, the Flying Saucers narrowly take a top half. Here, of course, is the podium for the friendly round, but of course it's really all for bragging rights. The Wavebreakers, though, definitely have a lot of bragging rights to go around, beating all of the reigning podium teams, but now the fans are getting excited, as it's time for the final chance for all of these teams to qualify. The Pollen Puffs will be up first, considering they've already clinched the qualification. There's not a ton of stress for them, and they'll be starting off with a great score here. A 7 is definitely how you want to do it. Their second marble comes down now, and it's pretty decent, a 4.5. This team did win aiming in the main league last season, and they're definitely showing here, not quite with that, though. A 1 is not how you want to do it. Their final run comes down, and a 2.5. A run that started really hot for them with a 7, but it fizzled out to a 15 by the end. Not great from the Pollen Puffs. Of course, it didn't really need to be. As now we move on to Team Pixie, the second team that's already made it into the main league once again. And a 5.5 is pretty solid as an opener. We'll see if they can hang on to their consistency this time. And it looks like maybe it was a 4.5, not too bad. But now their third marble comes down, and they're looking very solid here. A 6.5 will be a very solid score for them. If they can get a really great score here, they can get another medal. Ooh, I don't think they will, though. A 4 isn't too bad, but a 20.5 might still be enough for a great score. I'm not too sure. But, of course, it doesn't really matter much for them. But now we move on to the Terror Titans. On the opposite end, they need every point they can to try and make it to the main league this time. And they'll start off with a 0. Oh, it's a catastrophe to start. Will their second marble be able to improve? They're going off to the far side again, and that's a 3. Not really what they're... At this point, they'll need pretty much bullseyes all the way down. And that's a 1 or a 2. Not good for them. Can their final marble, their captain, they're going off to the near side. A 3.5. Will only be third place with an 8.5. Less than 10 runs. 10 points. Not great for them. But now we move on to another team that really needs the points. The Gugos tied with the Turtines at the moment and off to a much better start with a 5 from their opening run. Their second marble comes down and they'll completely miss another marble going off to the far side with a 0. Their third comes down looking a lot better. That's a 7, almost able to get a bullseye. But now the Gugos looking like they might have a chance if they can get a good run here. Ooh, I don't think a 3.5 will do it though. The Gugos almost had potential here, but a 15.5 will be P2 technically, but not great, especially considering the runs we've seen before. But now I move on to the Jelly Jammers, the last team that's already made it in Group A. They're off way to the near side, completely missing. We've seen a lot of teams go off to the far. I guess they're overcorrecting a little bit. Their second marble comes down at a 4.5. Perhaps this team's just celebrating already, as now their third comes down a lot better here, a 7. And still, we haven't seen anybody able to get a bullseye. We've seen a couple 7.5s, and they almost managed to get one with their captain, but they veered off at the very last moment to get a 4.5. And a 16 will still be enough for P2, surprisingly, but not the greatest. As now we move on to the Loaves of Bread, currently 4th place. If they can just get a solid result here, they can hang on for the qualification. And a 5.5 is a very solid opening shot from their former reserve Toast. Their second marble comes down very solid here, 7.5, almost able to get a bullseye, not quite. Their third comes down now, and off to the far side, a 4.5, not too shabby. Now their captain Bun comes down, almost looking able to get a bullseye, not quite able to do it. A 6.5 though will add up to a 24. That is a monster point total, and the Loaves of Bread I think have guaranteed they will be going back to the main league for the 3rd season in a row. Now the Avocados, one of the teams currently pretty far below the cutoff line, and a 6 is a pretty solid opening shot. Now their new Marble Voca, can they do what they need to do here? It looks like they will, a 6.5, not too shabby. Their next marble comes down, consistency on their side, another 6.5, and another good run here could clinch it with their captain Quack, and that is another good one. It looks like another 6.5 and 3 in a row will add up to a 25.5. That'll take P1. That might be the score they need, but of course we'll see with so many runs left to go. The Slush Rush, another team outside the bubble right now. Can they get in? I'm not sure with a 4 if that's the greatest opening run from Grapple. Now their second marble comes down, and that's a complete miss there. Another 0. We've seen quite a lot of them. A lot of teams saying hi to the test team. As now they go down to 3 is not great from Hail. It's all going to come down to Snow, the captain. Can they get anything done? That is a very solid run. Ooh, just barely. They even make contact with the 8 there, but a 7 will only add up to 14. That is 7th out of 8. It might be over for the Slush Rushes. Now the Stingrays, another one of those teams with perfect attendance so far, currently on the inside right now. And has a great opening shot here. A 6.5 is not too shabby. Their second marble comes down now, and another great one with a 7. The teams are getting better and better. This Manta comes down now, and that's a bullseye. The first one we've seen. The Stingrays are doing what they need to do, and I think at this point that Sting just needs to hang on. A 7.5 is better than they even needed. This is a great run all around. A 29 out of a possible 32. A comfortable P1. I'll be amazed if anyone beats that. The Stingrays already in the qualification zone. I think they've just guaranteed they will be making it once again. The Positrons now come down, a 2.5, not the greatest. This team is right below the cutoff line. They could really use some points here, and that's a decent score there, a 5.5. Let's see if their next can do any better. Oh, that is completely off to the near side. Not at all how you want to do it from Anti-Charge. But now their final run, the captain, Anti-Electron. Can they get it done? Almost a bullseye. A 7.5 is very solid, but will it be enough? I'm not sure. A 15.5 is only P6 out of 10. Now we move on to the last couple runs. The Rose Rollers currently right on the bubble, tied with the Wizard Lizards at the moment, but currently on the inside looking out. Will they get a good run here? I don't think so. Not from their first marble. A 3.5, not great. Their second comes down. Another 3.5 on the other side. Can their third get anything done here? They're looking pretty decent at 4.5 this time, but they're overcorrecting in both directions. Their final run only able to get a 3.5, and consistency will at least give them a 15, but that is 9th out of 11. Not great for the Rose Rollers, but that gives a huge opportunity to the Wizard Lizards. It's really going to come down between them and the Avocados for that last spot, and they're going to miss completely here. A 1 will just barely salvage a single point. Now their second run, can they do anything better? That is a lot better, a 7.5, looking very solid here. Their next marble comes out, another great one, a 7.5 back-to-back. Can they get a final great run from their captain? Oh, it's going to be another 1 off to the top side. A very symmetrical result, but 17 will be enough for 5th. I'm not sure. Will that be enough to get into the qualification zone? The Stingrays hold on for the win. I'm pretty confident they'll be making it. The Avocados were outside, but getting a silver here might be enough. The Loaves of Bread, I'm pretty confident will make it. And yes, they will. The Avocados have done it, though. 4 spots jumped here. They will take the final qualification spot. The Wizard Lizards will be going back to the B-League. Another close miss there. The Terror Titans, unfortunately, not able to make it after the B-League Championship. Slush Rush losing their perfect attendance. But that is it. Here is the podium for Group A. Team Pixie will be winning. Last season, they just barely didn't win their group, but the Pollen Puffs and Jelly Jammers rounding it out. But now we move on to Group B. We're going right back into the action with the Chili Peppers, another one of the teams that's already clinched. They don't have any stress to worry about, as the 3 will be a decent but not great opening start. Their second, another pretty poor one, a 2.5 even. Now let's see, can their third do any better, or are the Chili Peppers just deciding to take an early vacation here, and considering they already know they're going back to the main league, and that is 4 in a row, overcorrecting to that far side, and a 9.5, a sub-10 run is really going to doom you, and if the Chili Peppers getting technically first out of 1, but not a great run at all. The Checkmates, though, are on the opposite end. They have 7 points right now. They really need something good here, and a 5.5 is a decent opening push. Can their second do any better, though? Oh, it's a 3.5, not the greatest. They really need something to get going here. Knight comes down. That's a 7 there. Not too shabby. Almost lost half a point by going to the far side. Oh, but the captain. Queen goes off, and I think that guarantees a 16. Actually, not as bad as I thought, but still not the greatest. It's going to be tough considering how far below the cutoff they are right now. The Stone Golems, though, have already guaranteed they'll be making it, so they don't have to worry here as Android comes down, and not having to worry is definitely shown off here, getting a 0 in their first run. Construct comes down, and that's a bit better, a 5, not too shabby. Now their third comes down. Will they do better here? Yes, they will. A 6. Not too bad. Now their Captain Guardian. Will they get anything going? And yes, they will. A 6.5. Not too shabby. A 17.5 will actually take P1, and I think already the Checkmates might be out of it. But now we move on to the Azure Diamonds, who are currently not quite clinched, but really anything better than a bottom 4 result here will guarantee they'll make it, and a 5.5 is not too bad. Of course, the Diamonds have come close before, but they've never made it to the main league, and a 7.5 is another great run for the Diamonds. Can their next one be good? Oh, 2.5 isn't too bad, but not really what they were looking for. Their final run comes down now, and a 4.5 will be a decent way to end it, but a 20 will actually take P1, and I think the Azure Diamonds might have just punched their ticket to the main league for the first time. Meanwhile, from one blue team to another, the Soaring Skies are in trouble right now. They need a lot of points to make it into the bubble, and a 6 is a decent opening shot. Their second comes down now, and that's a complete miss there, a 0 for their next marble. Can they get anything going here? Their next comes down. They go off to the near side this time, and a 5.5 isn't bad, but they really need something like a bullseye, and they'll not be getting it at all. Another 0 from their captain, and it might be over for the Soaring Skies. An 11.5 will be 4th out of 5, and they are currently already 10th, 10th in the group. Now we move on to the King Crabs, who are another team that really need a miracle here. They start off with a 7.5, not too bad for the Season 1 champions. Now their next roll comes down, also looking good. That's a 6, and another great run, 2 back-to-back for the King Crabs. Their next marble comes down. That's another great one, a 7.5, the King Crabs. Can they do what they need to get done? Their captain, Fiddler, the Season 1 most valuable marble, not quite able to get as solid as the rest, but a 4.5 will be enough to take P1, a 25.5, and the King Crabs know they need a miracle. They might just be getting it. Now we move on to the Balls of Water, another team that's they're right now in the qualification zone, but they start off with a 0, not how you want to do it. And now after seeing the King Crabs looking dangerous here, they need to keep defending that position. Last season they came oh so close to qualifying, and after 2 straight terrible results, another one, only getting a 1. Can they get anything going on this last one? Actually, that will be better, but a 5.5 will not salvage that run at all. A 6.5, the worst run we've seen yet. That is 7th out of 7, and I doubt anyone will be able to find a score worse than that. Not great for a team only 2 points above the cutoff. Orange Fizz coming down now. They're another team that is in the qualification zone at the moment, but they need to defend that position, and that first run and their second run both not looking the greatest. They need to get something closer to the center. Their third comes down, still not amazing. Will their fourth be able to get it done? The captain bubble. They're looking perfect here. It's a bullseye for their captain. That might just be able to be enough to redeem it. 19.5 will take P3. Orange Fizz. Can they punch their ticket to the main league for the first time? Now the Snapping Turtles, another team that has perfect attendance, but right now they're on the outside looking in, and that's a perfect run. Oh, just barely, not quite a perfect run, but a 7.5 is very solid as an opener. Their next also looking good, a 5.5, as now Yertle comes down. Will they get a great run here? Not the greatest, but 5.5, still very consistent. And Bowser, the captain, comes down, and that's a 7. The Snapping Turtles might be pulling off a miracle as well. A 25.5 will tie for P1 technically, but they lose on the tiebreaker to the King Crabs. But another team that's doing what they need to get done. Speaking of which, the Gigawatts are currently just barely inside the qualification zone, but so many teams near that zone are looking competitive in a 4.5. I'm not sure that's the opening they needed. Another 4.5, 2 back-to-back, is not the greatest. They really need something going here. A 3 in a row now. The Gigawatts looking very consistent at the very least, as their Captain Watt comes down, and oh, they will only get a 1. Hiding away in shame there, the Gigawatts. A 14.5 is 7th out of 10. I don't know if that'll be enough, with only a single point cushion over the 4K Pixels, who are up next in run 11. They're another team that could really use some points to get into the qualification zone. A 5 will be a decent opening shot. Now let's see how their second marble goes down, and it's a 5.5, not the greatest, but still looking pretty consistent. Their third comes down, that's a 7, another great run, and suddenly the 4K Pixels look dangerous as well. Can they contend for P1? Oh, I don't think they quite will. A 5.5 is a decent end, though, and a 23 will take third place. The 4K Pixels take the third podium spot, and suddenly everyone on the podium is a team currently outside the qualification zone. The Flashbangs are the last run. They're another team outside the qualification zone right now, and they start off with a 6.5, not too shabby. The Flashbangs, their second marble comes down, not the greatest, of 4.5, but everyone is looking competitive here in Group B. Their third marble comes down, only a 2.5. They really need to get something going with their Captain Flare, and they're looking very solid here. They'll only get a 7, though. That could have been a 7.5, maybe even a bullseye, and a 20.5 will just barely miss out on the podium. P4 is going to be very close. It's going to be hard to say how the math adds up, with the King Crabs taking the win, the Snapping Turtles, 4K Pixels, Flashbangs, all of those teams currently outside the qualification zone. Which ones will be making it? And the Flashbangs will not, but the King Crabs, 4K Pixels, and Snapping Turtles all pull off miracles here to get into the main league. Orange Fizz, heartbreaking, will be missing out once again. The Gigawatts can't get it done. The Balls of Water dropping 5 spots. Meanwhile, the Azure Diamonds moving up onto the podium even. Very solid for them. Here is the final podium for Group B. The Stone Golems, unsurprisingly, taking the win here. The Season 2 hosts looking like they're still solid even into the Season 3. But now we see the full roster of our teams for Quack's Marble Clash Season 3. So many teams came so close, but these are the teams who have earned their spot here. The King Crabs and Avocados looking very close, but they just narrowly made it. Of course, the Red Rockets, the reigning champions, as well as the rest of the podium. But soon we will be seeing you for Event 1, Balancing. So long, and thank you for watching.